Hey, this is Don Walters coming to you from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. How are you? Hey, just want to talk to you about the subject of whether or not it's ethical to pay people for participating in clinical studies. And I know that's always a big conversation. The reason I think that you run into a lot of problems is that because some sites use money and money only to get people in, and they tout that we pay the most. And so now you get into this, you develop this bidding war between your site and other sites out there. And God knows that there are a lot of clients out there that are looking for that. They're looking to see where they can make the most money, and that's where they try to go. They're not even concerned whether or not they're going to qualify. They're just hoping that somehow, some way they can get in, or they say and do all the right things to get into a study. Is it ethical? I don't think it's ethical to use money to coerce someone to come into a clinical study. But on the other end, you have to face the fact that I'm going to say that up in the high 90% of the people who participate in clinical studies, they do it for the income. Whether they're on fixed income, no income, or have an income, it doesn't matter. I do run into people from time to time that are doing this for the benevolence, or because they either want to feel good about finding a better medication for themselves, or finding a medication that's going to help someone else that's going to end up with the same illness that they have. When you have someone that has that illness and is participating in the study, that you pay them as much as you pay someone who's doing a healthy normal study, or someone who's doing a phase 1 study that may have the illness, but they haven't tested the effects or the safetiness with that medication yet. And those are the things you have, I think, that are looked at. Healthy normal study, I mean, what else are they going to benefit from that, from testing that medication, other than helping somebody else that has that illness that may benefit from that medication? Typically, they're brand new medications when you're doing a healthy normal study, and you don't know the safetiness of it, you don't know the effects of it, and that's what they're trying to determine. So how else are you going to compensate someone for their time and participation and putting themselves at risk for doing those studies? Someone who's doing an early phase study that may be diagnosed with that illness is the same thing. Again, you're talking about risk and safety involved with their time, and even if they could benefit from the medication, you're still talking about a safety and the effects of the medication. You have no idea what it's going to be. But once they've gotten past that point and you're conducting studies, typically they do pay less. And the reason they pay less is because I think, now this is my thoughts and what I know, is because now you've passed that point of pretty much having an idea you passed that point of testing for safety and efficacy. Not that they stopped testing for that, but the focus is not just on that anymore. The focus is also on looking at a group of people that can benefit from that medication and seeing how well it works within that group before they expand to even a larger group. And even when they expand to a larger group, again, the money is typically not as high because you've gotten past that point. And if you're still paying high bits amount of money, then again, it can become coercion. If you got one site that, let's say, is paying $1,000 for that study, and another site's paying $3,000 for that study, and they're all within the same geographical area, what's going to happen? Obviously, clients are going to want to run over there where they're paying $3,000 and go into that particular study. So you have to be careful, and actually it's not a bad idea to find out what the other sites are paying. And you can just a lot of times ask the clients, because a lot of them shop. I know, at least in the arena that I'm in, a lot of these patients shop. And also, too, at a few sites, I've developed relationships with some of the coordinators and some of the staff members there, and I can call up and find out, so that way I know that we're all within the same ballpark, for the most part, and that way you have a better chance of selecting people that, first of all, that are going to be, they're coming for the money, but they're not choosing you because you're paying more than someone else. And you got a little bit, and then you got someone that way who's a little bit more interested in what you're doing. But if they're just coming to you because you pay the most money, what happens when John Brown down the street decides that, well, okay, well, I'm going to pay more than you, you run a risk of that person finding a way to get out of your study to try to get down the street. And I've seen this happen. Try to get down the street to another place to get into that study. So we all have to, in this industry, I think, hold some responsibility, all the clinical sites out there, and not getting into this actual bidding war and, oh, I'm the one that's paid the most for my studies, so therefore you come to me. Because then again, what happens when you lose that ground, then you're going to have your patients coming in and they're not going to complete your study. And the whole purpose for all of us doing this, even though we're in business, but is to complete these studies, to get this stuff completed so we can collect that data and move it on. So again, we have to be responsible out there and make sure that we're not into some sort of bidding war and who's paying the most. As long as we're all in the same arena, if you're $10 off on your daily rate, that's okay. $10, $15 off, that's fine. Maybe even $20 off, that's all right. But when you get into somebody's paying $50 a day and somebody's paying $100 a day, then you know where these clients are going to go running. And you got a problem, because if you're paying $100 a day, what happens when that guy turns around and decides to pay? Well, you know what, I'll pay $110. And the patient's going to look and say, well, that's $10 extra dollars. I can pick up an extra $300 in 30 days. I'm going to go there and not your program. Oh, I'm in your program, and I hear that they got a study that's paying a little bit more than yours, same length of time. I think I'm going to try to get down there, and I'm going to tell you that this isn't working. I need to leave, or they'll come up with some kind of excuse why they need to discharge, and you don't, and they don't end up completing your study. So anyway, I'm not going to ramble anymore, but just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. This is Don Walters signing off from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, if you have any questions or would like to add to what I just said, please do. We look forward to your responses.